In about 10 days, Ross gonna throw him away. I'm gonna be real with you, Meech. If Rick Ross, seeing what he did to you, because he knew what he was doing standing on the side of him, right?
What if the comeback story of the year wasn't a comeback at all, but a carefully orchestrated setup for a devastating betrayal? Big Meech, fresh out after 15 years, was supposed to reclaim his throne. Rick Ross, the self-proclaimed biggest boss, was right there, promising to help him do it. But what unfolded wasn't a triumphant return. It was a calculated scheme, and Big Meech is about to pay the ultimate price.
I've seen a lot of posts about the Big Meech concert getting canceled. What I'm not seeing is anybody blaming Rick Ross for this shit. Nobody is saying, yo, Rick Ross is your
Imagine the hype. Big Meech is free. Instagram explodes with posts of him and Rick Ross, the biggest name in the game, linking up. Promises are flying. A massive welcome back concert, movie deals, business ventures, all flashing across social media. It looked perfect, almost too perfect. February 13th was circled on the calendar. The Big Meech benefit concert, hyped as iconic, packed with legends. Lil Baby, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, and of course, Ricky Rose himself. This was supposed to be history in the making, Meech's triumphant return to the top, but behind the glitz and glamour, a different game was being played.
February 13th, the Big Meech home benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done.
Then silence. The iconic concert canceled. $1 million deals vanished. Big Meech's family reportedly struggling, and Rick Ross nowhere to be seen. The street started whispering, then shouting. Where was the biggest boss when Meech needed him most? The comeback story was crumbling, and fast. That perfect facade started to crack, revealing a harsh reality underneath. Something was definitely wrong, and the blame game began. But surprisingly, not everyone was pointing fingers where you might expect.
Down on the edge, so don't push. I aim straight for your head, so don't push.
Yeah, I'm out here in Miami. We're gonna do live tonight. It's gonna be live if it don't get canceled.
This party is canceled until
While the internet buzzed about the canceled concert, a different kind of noise started to emerge. 50 Cent, Meech's longtime rival turned ally, stepped into the picture. He reposted something explosive, something from someone deep in the trenches, someone with real connections to both Meech and Ross. This wasn't internet gossip, this was intel from the streets. And what this source revealed about Rick Ross's real intentions? It was a level of snake behavior nobody saw coming, a betrayal that went deeper than anyone imagined.
But hold up, Zip had more to say. As an industry insider with his ear to the streets, he dropped some hood news that will make your jaw hit the floor.
Oh, yo, he never ratted on nobody. He official. What? Jailhouse full of paying rent. That never ratted, wouldn't dare rat. But they butt. What is you talking about? He official. That don't make you solid because you ain't rat. You shouldn't get no credit because you ain't rat. You wasn't supposed to rat. You don't get no check on his resume because he ain't rat.
Think about it. What's the best way for Rick Ross to stay relevant? Insert himself right into the middle of a years-long feud between legends. That's how. Industry insiders started whispering that this whole support Meech act was a calculated scheme from day one. The moment Ross heard about Meech's release, he saw an opportunity. He swooped in, sweet-talking Meech, buttering him up with promises of a massive welcome back party. It wasn't about loyalty, it was about leveraging Meech's name, his story, and his beef with 50 Cent to boost his own brand. Ross saw dollar signs and clout, and Meech, blinded by the promises, walked right into the trap.
Zip says it was just an unspoken rule, nothing special enough to build a whole brand around. Being not a rat doesn't automatically make you a hero in the game. What Zip fails to mention, though, is that there's actual evidence and witnesses to the underhanded deals.
Remember that never fold mantra Ross was pushing for Meech? Turns out even that was part of the manipulation. Industry insider Zip dropped some truth, saying the never fold thing was just street code, nothing groundbreaking. Ross hyped it up like it made Meech a superhero, but Zip said it was just the bare minimum. And while Ross was out there flaunting his boss token cryptocurrency, bragging about making money with a broken shoulder, Meech was facing real-world consequences of this betrayal. The hypocrisy was blatant. Ross was profiting, while Meech was left picking up the pieces.
You see what I'm doing right now? My shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still counting paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby. We bossing all the way up. Get the address to the boss token.
And then there's the shoulder injury, conveniently appearing right when the drama with Meech exploded. Timing is everything, right? The streets started buzzing with two theories. Theory 1, Meech, enraged by Ross's betrayal after 15 years behind bars, finally snapped. Let's just say some whispers suggested Meech might have had something to do with that injury. But theory 2, even more twisted. What if Ross was faking, or at least exaggerating, the injury? A sympathy play, a distraction from the heat he was taking for abandoning Meech? Which story is closer to the truth, or is it some combination of both?
For Charlotte and Greensboro this weekend have been canceled. Yesterday, you may remember we told you about threats that the rapper received, which had made some fans a little anxious.
To understand Ross's moves, you gotta look at his track record. Remember the Larry Hoover benefit concert back in 2022? Ross name-dropped Hoover in a track, riding the wave of publicity selling tickets. But when things got complicated, when threats surfaced and concerts got canceled, Ross vanished. He threw his own managers under the bus, claiming he didn't even know his shows were canceled. Sound familiar? It's the same playbook. Use a legend for clout, then disappear when the heat turns up. A pattern of deception is emerging, and it paints a very clear picture of Rick Ross's character.
His name is Rick Ross, but not only that, this Rick Ross claims that his whole identity was stolen. Peep the beard, peep the bald hair, the selling stuff.
While most rappers use aliases,
but the betrayal goes even deeper. Rick Ross isn't even Rick Ross. His real name is William Leonard Roberts II. He stole his entire persona, his name, his street kingpin image from a real Rick Ross, a man who was serving life in prison. And get this, the real Rick Ross claims this imposter stole his very identity, beard and all. This supposed D-Lord, this from the trenches rapper, was actually a correction officer, working for the system, locking people up, and somehow he managed to convince a judge to let him keep the stolen name. This revelation fuels the darkest rumor of all. Is Rick Ross a federal informant? Did he infiltrate hip-hop to gather intel, stirring up beef, creating chaos, all while working for the authorities?
Here's where things start to get wicked. Secrets start getting spilled. Rose says, Your Honor. Judge says, are you a kingpin? A Bausch, if you will. Rose said, no. The crowd goes, Judge said, the crowd goes silent. He goes, so what were you before you were a rapper? Rose goes, a corrections officer.
I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
And this is the man Big Meech chose to trust. A walking red flag. The industry saw it. 50 Cent saw it. Everyone saw it. Ross abandoned Larry Hoover when things got messy. A clear warning sign. But Meech ignored it, blinded by the flashy promises. He traded genuine loyalty for empty words. For years, 50 Cent had Meech's back. He kept the BMF legacy alive, turned it into a hit TV show, put real money into the brand. He was planning real business ventures with Meech, setting him up for success. But Meech chose the snake over the solid support, a catastrophic misjudgment.
I never folded, never told, never will. Death before the time.
When 50 Cent called Meech a snitch, Meech's response was weak, scripted, and utterly unconvincing. Never folded, never told, never will. Hollow words after publicly aligning with Rick Ross. The streets weren't buying it. The industry wasn't buying it. Even neutral voices like Andrew Schultz weighed in saying, 50 is never wrong when it comes to beef. Whack 100, who's seen it all, said Meech. Fumbled the bag, throwing away millions in potential earnings and burning bridges with the one person who could have truly helped him. The industry consensus was clear. Meech made a massive mistake. And now, the ultimate twist. Rick Ross, the architect of this whole scheme, is trying to apologize to 50 Cent, switching gears faster than anyone could imagine. 1 minute, he's trying to steal BMF. The next, he's begging for forgiveness. It's a desperate attempt to salvage his image, to backtrack from the mess he created. But is it genuine, or just another calculated move? 50 Cent's response? Cold. When I see you, I hug you. I don't speak to you. Translation, the betrayal is too deep, the damage is done, and with 50 Cent, beef is for life. So what happens now? Can Big Meech recover from this? Has Rick Ross done permanent damage to his comeback? One thing is clear, in this game, actions speak louder than words. Meech learned that lesson the hard way, and as for Rick Ross, he may have finessed Big Meech, but he might have just exposed his true colors to the entire industry. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and remember, watch what people do, not what they say.